what a BA was, had no idea that I was doing those things. From that, I was asked to start writing the technical manuals and technical guides for my organization, and I became a technical writer. And during that technical writing gig, I was doing more BA techniques and activities, and again, didn't really know I was a BA, and yet I was fulfilling those roles. I did learn about an organization called the STC, and met some of my tribe, some of the people that helped support me along the way. And I still converse with those folks. They're very helpful to my career. Soon after that, I found out what a business analyst was, and in 2008, had a position that was actually called a business analyst. And I was able to then learn what a business analyst was. I shortly then found out about the IIBA. And in Minneapolis, there is a really good chapter for the IIBA, was introduced to that chapter. And they had a Cbap study group going on when I first joined them. Bob Prentice, BA Bob, actually invited me to that study group and encouraged me to join and get certified as soon as possible and learn the real techniques and real benefits of being a certified BA. So in 2010, I joined that study group and made it a goal in my life, in my professional life, to get certified through the IIBA. And then also in 2010, I got married. And in 2011, I had a baby. My son Frank was born, and my life changed. And the goal still remained there, but my my time and the resources I had and the abilities that I had to remain engaged in the IIBA went down and down and down and down. Although it still remained in my brain as something I really wanted to do. I wanted to get that IIBA certification. It was a goal of mine, even though I had these life things that were more important for me at the time. The family thing really became more important for me. And in 2015, I was laid off. It was my first time that I was ever laid off, sent away from my job. And that became a huge thing in my life. When I started to look for a new job after my layoff, those interviews went really well. I always got to the top 3. And then during the last interviews, they would always ask a question of, tell me about your certifications. Tell me about your certifications. And I would say, well, I have 0 certifications. I'm not certified to do anything. I have a lot of experience, but I don't have any certifications. And then the phone would click and I wouldn't get that next interview. And so I knew at that time I needed to get certifications. I was on a Salesforce admin track, and so I got a lot of Salesforce certifications. Those came pretty easy for me. I knew a lot about Salesforce, and so I started to get Salesforce certifications, and I started to get jobs there. And so when the pandemic hit, there was a little bit of a lull in work, and I started to look around for ways to get more training. And I saw one of the things was that both the Minneapolis IIBA was doing more virtual training, and then I also saw that the Bluegrass IIBA was doing virtual meetings and virtual trainings. And so I signed up for the Cbap study group through the Bluegrass IIBA. And you'll see on there that on May 29th of 2021, I did achieve my my Cbap certification, and I have fulfilled this 10-year goal of mine. It's a very important thing that I have that professional certification that I wanted from 10 years ago. I do want to talk about these certifications, why they're important. There's 3 levels of certifications that I'm going to talk about the IIBA has. The ECBA is the entry certificate of business analytic analysis. It's has 50 questions. It's testing your knowledge of basic knowledge. It's meant for new professionals who are perhaps not BAs or just beginning BAs, folks that maybe manage BAs and want to know the essence, the foundational understanding of business analysis. And it does require 21 hours of professional development over the last 4 years. That would be the starting level of certification from the IIBA. There's a level 2, that's the certification of capability in business analysis. And this is targeted at professionals who have 2 to 3 years, around 2 to 3 years of BA experience. And this exam is more scenario based, situations that can happen in business analysis, and is really targeted to those that are looking to advance their BA competency, and perhaps those who already have ECBA designation, or those that have been BA consultants or BAs for some time. The Cbap level was something that, as someone that had been doing the techniques and activities for some period of time, the folks at the IIBA Minneapolis said, really, I should be looking at as far as getting the Cbap level. I had multiple years of experience. I really understood the techniques, the competencies, and was looking to propel my career and really stay into that business analysis realm of employment and demonstrate a professional competency. And that's where the Cbap level lives. If you have over 5 years of experience and are looking to be a senior BA, have BA consulting experience, this exam is much longer. It's well over 3 hours of time. A lot of multiple choice, scenario-based questions, a lot of thought to put into how a business would work around a specific problem. And the work experience, you must validate your work experience and have experience in each knowledge area, and also prove that you've got professional development, and also have references that will speak to your ability in the business analysis area. When you go into looking at the Cbap, those knowledge areas that they're going to be looking at for the areas of experience are going to be around business analysis, planning and monitoring, elicitation and collaboration, requirements, lifecycle management, strategy analysis, requirements analysis and design, definition and solution evaluation. And then the 6 underlying competencies and 50 techniques. And in the study group, probably Aaron or other folks in the study group will have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's now over 50 techniques. Was it 52 or 53 techniques that we had listed out in our study group from last year?
There are 50 techniques, and all the techniques are taught as part of your knowledge base area teachings when we go through the class.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to go through some of the tips that I have gained through my experience, and some of the tips through my failures. So First one is study. I mean, study should be pretty easy, but as we go in the next slide, we'll find out why study is not always that easy. You'll want to fill out the application for the test. That is an easier process now than I think it may have been in the past. On the IIBA website, when you go there, there is a dashboard for you to go to see the application process. It is pretty visual in the way that you fill out the application, and there is a set of requirements that you have to go through. You'll see if your application has been approved, and then we'll be asked to go to the next step. Right now, that is, at least for me, it was a very easy process to go in, see the dashboard, see where my application was in the timeline of steps, and then to know what the next step was. And again, study before, and study during this application process, and study afterwards. In the exam, there are going to be questions about every domain, and the exam is a long exam on the Cbap exam. Again, these are case study questions, scenario-based questions. There's 120 multiple choice questions, and again, there are going to be questions from every part of the domain that are in the IIBA body of knowledge, and so when you study, you'll want to make sure that you are hitting all of those pieces. Some of the study tips that I took along my way was join a study group. That was a huge help for me. I remember things from my first study group way back in 2010 that came back again in this last year during the study group. A lot of good resources that IIBA gives you, and then also that the leaders through the Bluegrass group offered during the study group. And also just having a group of individuals that you're with that are all kind of focused on the same goal, to be able to have a like-minded point of view and driven in that way. I did sign up for the watermark practice tests. That was very helpful for me. And the knowledge areas, so when you analyze the knowledge areas, one of the things that I'll mention again is read the BABOK. That was a problem that I had, is I thought I could do it all through the study group and through the watermark resources, and I failed to look at the BABOK. I've read it in the past, but read it again. Read the BABOK. Read the whole thing, and then read each chapter. Read each knowledge area, and really understand it. Create your own models. Create your own flashcards. Create your own visual drawings. It helps to write it down and then review what you just wrote. It helps you to memorize and remember and understand from your own point of view, through your own language. And also, it's good to get a study partner. If you find someone in the study group that you connect with, use that relationship to help each other to study. And I'll share this. These are the deeper dive in the knowledge areas. Just because of time, I'm going to skip through this. Everyone has a different learning style. Some people are better at listening and processing through hearing things over and over again. some people like visual of looking at different diagrams. One of the things with the study group is that the videos are recorded and you can go back and listen. So if you didn't understand or you missed something during the session, you can go back the next day and watch the video, listen to the examples that were given, and look at some of the videos, look at some of the visuals. That helped me a lot. I was able to go back and say, that was interesting. I didn't quite get it. Let me go and look at it again. On the day of exam, my advice on this, anytime I take an exam, I go minimal. I don't bring anything with me that I don't need. I bring my ID. I brought my mask and not much else. I didn't bring anything that would cause any sort of interruption in getting into the room, taking the test, and just having any sort of problems along the way. During the test, I flagged the questions that I wasn't sure of and moved along. Then when I was done with all the questions, I went back to those flagged questions and re-examined the question, read through the story, and then tried to figure out where I was having problems. Did something else that I read in other parts of that story help me to answer that question? And make sure you manage your time, because you can find out that this is a long test and you may not have all the time that you thought you did. And your brain just gets tired after reading that long for so many hours. I found that after this test, I was exhausted, and I was ready just to have a little bit of a power nap after I was done. My brain was done for the day. Challenge yourself. This is one thing that I actually took this test after the study group was over. I'm not sure I told anyone, but I took the test and I failed. And I told my wife, I said, well, it was so hard. I don't know that I'll do it again. And she told me, well, that if you don't do it again, then you have failed. You need to try again. So challenge yourself. Even if you fail, you're not a failure. Do it again. Get back, do the watermark practice tests, read through the books, read the Cbap again, and try again. So on here, my last day, 8/26, was the last day of the study group. I took the test on September 12th, and I failed it. I felt like I failed it pretty miserably, and I was pretty angry. So I realized, no, I need to read the Cbap. I reread it. I reread the watermark book. I retook the watermark practice tests, and then I set another date for my test in April there, and sure enough, I was able to pass the test. So why is that important to me? It demonstrates the level of professionalism, and that I can meet the standard of approach to analysis that can be relied on by leaders, by other stakeholders, by my peers that I work with. And so it I don't know what happened to this, but so it is also demonstrates, oh, I know what it is, that by going through it, it is an exam that I must prove that I have the experience, not only that I can take a test, but I've shown that I have that background experience and the knowledge and ongoing training, and I'm part of a community that is meant on professional growth. So that's why that's important to me. So I'll make a little marketing thing. The Cbap study group, please take part in the Cbap study group. It provides structured discipline and also the time boxing for reviewing the material. There is a study group happening. It starts on August 19th, and you will let me know if this is wrong, right? And will end on November 11th. It is going to meet via web conference. It's going to happen from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. It does give you the PDU hours, credits that you need, or the CDUs, sorry, that you need to help you to apply for the exam. This is the link you will need to apply for the study group. It's an instructor-led course, so there is Q&A time. There is time for discussion, which is really helpful. It's really good. You don't understand something, raise your hand and say, help me with that particular topic. So I think this is where I'm going to end my slide. Sorry, this was I used some of these slides from Sacramento, but it's not Sacramento. This is from the Bluegrass. So when I submit these slides, I'm going to get rid of that thing. Any questions? I know I have like 2 minutes left.
Yes, there was a question. Did you have a study buddy during your Bluegrass study group, or did you pick one up after you failed it the first time?
I did not get a study buddy. And that was the one thing that I wish I had. I got some help. I had a remote study friend. We did not meet one-on-one, but we kind of helped each other over LinkedIn. More on moral support.
Okay. And where did you figure out where you could take your tests in person?
There is a site. Once you sign up for the test and your application is approved, you go onto the on the IIBA dashboard. There is actually a link to the testing site, and they have a zip code finder, and it will show you testing sites within 100 miles from your zip code, and that's what I used.
And so you were able to take yours in person?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Do you have a favorite technique of the 50?
It would be boy, it's shadowing. But is that
Observation.
Observation? Yeah.
That is one of my favorites. I think you learn a lot just by watching.
Yeah, I do. The other one I like that it's not called anything, but mine is called Cup of Coffee. I will regularly ask random stakeholders if I can buy them a cup of coffee. It hasn't been able to happen as much during the pandemic, but I love going on walks through the Skyway or whatever in Minnesota, and I will buy them a cup of coffee and ask them how they're doing, how I can help them, what could be better in technology for them. And I learned a ton about them, about their business, about how they work through just doing that.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate we're a little bit out of time. We have all of our questions. Wait, there is one says, if you're virtual, how do you raise your hand? In the test? I'm not sure what that question means. I'm sorry. If you guys wanted to elaborate on that one a little bit, I didn't understand the question, but I did want to say thank you, Stuart. I really do appreciate coming in. I have taken the study group, but I haven't been able to take the test yet. So I loved your honesty about the fact that you failed it the first time. Did you get told what you didn't pass, or is it a pass or a fail?
Afterwards, so not right away, but you will be let known afterwards the areas and whether you did better than average or less than average or average. So it's not really a pass fail or any sort of percentage, but just whether you were in the zone or not in the zone. And so it's somewhat helpful but without giving you any real specifics.
Okay, interesting. Good to know. So as Stuart did talk about, we do have a class coming up. If you have any questions, let me know. It is open for registration right now. And thank you for your time today, and I appreciate you guys joining us.